From the 10th Avenue Extension, Greater Estate, this is NBN TV, your mega broadcasting network of Alpha Multimedia. Welcome to the news at 6. My name is El Samuels. We take a look at the headlines.
Government to begin procurement process for new WA Airport, Mahama. In business, port container traffic climbs while passenger arrivals dip in first quarter of 2026. And on the international front, former UK minister calls for former British colonies to compensate Britain.
Details of those stories and more we also live across our social media handles on NBN 360, Facebook, YouTube, X, and TikTok. The President, John Dramani Mahama, has announced plans the government will take expansion work in WA Airport.
The President said the project forms part of efforts to improve transport infrastructure and strengthen the region's position as a commercial and logistic hub. Speaking during a courtesy call by the Upper West Regional House of Chiefs at the Jubilee House on Wednesday, July 8, President Mahama said the government was investing in rails, and air transport infrastructure to improve connectivity across the country. He explained that the necessary documentations for the WA Airport project has been submitted to the Public Procurement Authority for approval, paving the way for the procurement process to begin. We are improving transport and logistics all over the country, including railways, the roads, and air travel. As you would have heard, we are currently about to go to the Public Procurement Authority for authorization to begin procurement for the new airport in WA, he said. President Mahama noted that the Upper West Region's strategic location as one of Ghana's gateway to the Shire makes improved transport infrastructure critical to expanding trade, economic activities, and regional litigation. The proposed airport project is expected to boost mobility, support businesses' activities, and complement the government's border plans to develop infrastructure across the country.
Away from the story in the WA municipality, the contractor working on the Adenta Dodowa Road project says the project is 63% complete and remains on course at sustainable completion by March 2027 despite challenges affecting construction.
Speaking to Channel 1 TV on Wednesday, July 8, the project manager of Oswald Investment Limited, Gabriel Foley, attributed the pace of work to delays in property acquisition, compensation, and the relocation of utility services. He, however, assured motorists that the contractor remains committed to completing the project within the scheduled time frame. The project is a 36-month project, literally 3 years. We started in March 2024 and we want to hand it over in March 2027. Yes, it is very, very possible. Project is 63% complete, Mr. Foley said. He explained that the road expansion is more complex than a standard door carriageway because it includes service roads requiring additional land to accommodate the new design. Because of urbanization, the traffic demand on the road has increased tremendously, and as a result, there is no need for the road to be expanded, he said. According to him, the new design requires significant more space than the existing road, resulting in acquisition of several properties along the corridor.
Okay, so the project is a 36-month project. I mean, literally 3 years. We started in 2024 in March, and we are supposed to hand over this project next year, March 2027. It is very, very possible. Very, very possible. We appreciate the public interest in this project. However, there are some few technical issues that the public are not privy to, so sometimes they will perceive those things as delays. What are the issues that I'm referring to? I am referring to issues. So we see this road is not a normal dual carriage. Okay, it's a dual carriage with service roads attached to it. And what was actually existing before was just a single carriage, maximum 12 meters. Now you need about 50 meters wide width of area to be able to accommodate the new design. because of urbanization, the traffic demand on this road has increased tremendously. And as a result, there's the need for the road to be expanded. Now, in the expansion process, you need about 50-meter width as opposed to the 12-meter that was existing. Okay, so if you need 50 meters width of space to be able to accommodate the new design, what it tells you is that the impact of that space that you require on properties is massive.
From the Adenta Dodowa Road, we move to the Ministry of Health, where the Minister of Health, Kwabena Mintah Kando, has announced that Cabinet has decided to discontinue the implementation of the majority of the Agenda 111 hospital project, with government instead prioritizing completion of only 35 facilities across the country.
The minister disclosed the decision while addressing Parliament on Wednesday, July 8, explaining that the move forms part of the government's efforts to ensure prudent use of public resources and avoid what it describes as unproductive spending. Agenda 111, which was launched by the previous Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo administration, was designed to bridge Ghana's healthcare infrastructure gap by constructing hospitals in districts without such facilities, as well as regional and specialized hospitals. However, according to Akando, following a review of the program, Cabinet has resolved to adopt a phased approach that focuses on completing a smaller number of projects based on priority and available resources. Akando also indicated that the government intends to deepen collaboration with the Christian Health Association of Ghana, CHAG, a long-standing partner in healthcare delivery, as part of efforts to improve access to quality health services and strengthen the country's healthcare system. I am happy to inform this House that there has been a cabinet decision on Agenda 111 and we are supposed to phase them out, and so Cabinet has taken the decision to invest in the first 35 districts or facilities. We will look at the level of completion, the need of the people of the area, and we also look at the regional distribution, and so at least we will have one facility in every region. Another strategy is to collaborate with the Christian Health Association of Ghana.
From the floor of Parliament with the Minister for Health, Kwabena Mintah Kando, we move straight to the business desk, where Ghana's cargo trade maintained strong momentum in March, with container traffic through the Tema and Takoradi ports rising to 24.7% year-on-year to 91,742 containers, even as passengers' arrivals slipped to 1.8% to 96,412.
This is according to the Bank of Ghana's May 2026 Monetary Policy Report. The sharp increase in container volumes reflects continued growth in trade through the country's two main seaports. In March 2025, the port handled 73,577 laden containers, compared with 91,742 during the same period this year. The strong March performance also lifted first quarter cargo volumes. Total laden container traffic reached 237,018 containers between January and March 2026, up 15.5% from 205,145 containers recorded during the corresponding period last year. While cargo activity strengthened, passenger traffic was more subdued. The report showed that 96,412 passengers arrived through Ghana's international airport and land borders in March, compared with 98,146 arrivals in March 2025. Passenger arrivals were, however, broadly unchanged from 96,494 recorded in February, suggesting travel demand remained relatively stable on a monthly basis. Despite the March decline, international arrivals posted modest growth over the first 3 months of the year. Cumulative passenger arrivals reached 302,993 in the first quarter of 2026, representing a 2.6% increase from 295,415 recorded during the same period in 2025. The latest Bank of Ghana figures point to a stronger performance in merchandise trade than passenger movement during the opening quarter of the year, with cargo volumes continuing to expand at a faster pace than cross-border travel.
On an international front, former British Home Secretary Suella Braverman has called on Ghana and other former colonies to pay reparation to the United Kingdom for what she described as investment efforts and contribution made by the British Empire in developing these countries.
Braverman's remarks come amid growing calls from Ghana and several African countries for reparative justice over the transatlantic slave trade and the enduring effects of colonialism on African societies and the descendants of enslaved people. In a post on X, the former Conservative politician who defected to the far-right Reform UK party earlier this year weighed in on the reparations debate, arguing that the British Empire had made significant positive contributions worldwide. The British Empire did so much good for the world, Braverman wrote. While acknowledging that slavery was wrong, she rejected calls for modern-day Britain to provide compensation for historical injustices. Of course, slavery was abhorrent, but to expect the British people of the 21st century to pay for actions that took place in the 18th century has no basis in law, she stated. Braverman went further, arguing that if discussions on reparations were to be pursued, former British colonies should instead compensate Britain. If the government is seriously thinking about this, then former colonies should pay the British back for the considerable investment, efforts, and contribution that this country made, which laid the foundation for many flourishing democracies today, she added. The United Nations General Assembly recently passed a motion by Ghana on reparations for the transatlantic slave trade, with 123 member states voting in favor. The motion, presented by President John Dramani Mahama on Wednesday, March 25, 2026, calls for a renewed international commitment to reparative justice for African nations and the descendants of enslaved people. It urges UN member states to engage in structured dialogue and concrete actions aimed at acknowledging and addressing the enduring social, economic, and cultural impacts of slavery.
And on that note, we've come to the end of the Mega News 6 live and direct from our studios on the 10th Avenue Extension, Great X Station at Dokono. But before I take a leave of you, let's take a second look at the stories making headlines.
Government to begin procurement process for new Wa Airport, Mahama. In business, port container traffic climbs while passenger arrivals dip in first quarter of 2026. And on the international front, former UK minister calls for former British colonies to compensate Britain.
For more news, log on to MBN 360. My name is El Samuels. The news was also live across our social media handles. Thanks for staying with us. Up next is a sports update. Good morning.